All righty then. Hey, Wayne, how you doing?
Hanging in there, buddy. Thanks, Jess.
Yeah. Where were you when you found out that the Pac-12 tournament was over, and how did your team take the news?
I was in my room at the hotel. We had just finished our pregame meal probably about 40 minutes prior. So I was kind of doing my routine, getting ready to get ready to meet the team, for the bus to the game. We were probably about an hour from that process. So we sent a text out to all the players to meet back in the team room, and we waited for all the players and the staff to show up, and then we gave them word, even though it had broke over social media, so a lot of them had been looking at their phones.
Okay, and what was just the initial reaction there from your guys?
Obvious total devastation. Just what you're talking about from where we were the day before, the way we won that game, and the elation and pure enthusiasm and then really anticipating another heated battle against the Ducks and a chance to take another step forward, and to have all that just go to the other end of the spectrum now, where the rug just was really pulled out from under us, so to speak. And we didn't know that the season was over necessarily at that point. We knew it looked pretty bleak, but the guys just were devastated. So a lot of emotion in that conference room for sure.
Hey, Wayne, this is Nick. Did you have any sort of a sense, even as early as Wednesday night, that the tournament might be off?
No. When we played those games, you saw that night some of the stories about some of the NBA stuff that was going on. But, we thought once, the fact that our tournament was underway, that wasn't going to be a problem. Then the next morning, obviously, some things we started to hear about some other conferences. But we thought, because we had gotten things underway, that we would be able to complete it. But obviously totally understand and support the decision. We still don't know nearly enough about this thing, and it was a very, very cautious but necessary measure that was taken. I mean, the guys wanted to go play. They wanted to go play, and but part of our conversation with them was, really the health and welfare, was the priority, obviously, and ultimately they all understood that, but we didn't have much of an inclination Wednesday night that it was going to be, the plug was going to be pulled, so to speak.
Hey, Wayne, Steve Mims. Both seasons end with a loss for college basketball teams, but you guys kind of had your, not just a win, but a win like that. Is there almost kind of a feeling with everybody coming back that if it was going to end like that, maybe you can find some way to carry that over and some of the momentum from the good feeling when it did finally start going in?
Yeah, it was a big part of, after fighting through some tears, with our team, and we talked about that exactly, that some of the frustrations of our season, but then, the positive part at the end, how we came together when everybody kind of bought into putting the team first, and people being a star in their role, no matter what that role was, what it led to. And so we challenged the guys returning to remember that, to continue to cultivate that, especially when we add the new pieces. And, I'll be honest, I was pretty down, just, for our group overall, obviously for our seniors, obviously one of those seniors being my son, that had so many goals for this team, and we had so much momentum going, playing our best basketball at the right time, feeling that we really we're going to be one of those teams that so often makes their run in the conference tournament to get to the big tournament. And my daughter, Jocelyn, put it in that perspective. She said, Dad, I was part of 3 Final Four teams, and we ended every one of our years with a loss, and it was devastating. Not just with this team, but with your son. You can say, not only did you win your last game, and it was in the Pac-12 tournament, but what a way that you won it. That's going to be a great memory and maybe help kind of through this transition of not having the opportunity to go Trace anymore, the way we went out. And that personally, but also with the team overall, we love this group. And I know you guys, so many were frustrated at times, but we never wavered. We knew we had a special group. We knew we were capable of doing some neat things, and that's going to be the deal, and that's what we challenged them with. Let's stay hungry here this off season and continue to learn from the things that didn't go our way, to really focus in on why things went the way they did down the stretch and carry it forward.
Coach Anthony Machado here. What are you able to do with the guys now? Are they just off for finals, or are you still working with them?
No, can't do anything with them at all.
Okay.
We can't. They can't have any of their own captains' practices or anything right now. So next week's finals week, they're taking those online. Obviously, after that's spring break. So some of them will have plans to go home. Some will be around here. They do have access to the SPC, and it's going to be in limited numbers when they can go in and get their workouts there. But I tell you, Oregon State's really done a great job, our administration, of putting in a plan that, number one, really protects their safety and health, but also an organized, ability for them to be able to continue to get some work in, both academically, obviously, but then, some that are moving on, need to continue to work out and prepare. And so the powers that be are really doing a good job of organizing all of that. But again, always maintaining their health and safety is priority number one.
Coach, Steve Woodward from KORE. I apologize if you've answered this already. Wanted to know your thoughts on the NCAA proposal to potentially grant an extra year of eligibility to the players that missed out.
I think it's, with regards to spring sports, I think it makes total sense. Obviously, the winter sports, we had a big part of our season, and it's a shame that miss out on the postseason. So much magic's made in the postseason. I would fully support it. But then, also, the big part, how we run our program, we really try to tie in life lessons through the game of basketball. And a lot of times you don't get their do-overs in life, and it's tough. So I see that side of it too. But if they were to propose that for winter sports, and obviously ask for our opinion to weigh in, I would ultimately support it just because, this window of 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, to compete at the collegiate level is something that's really, really special. And obviously we wouldn't want to have any of them have the opportunity to participate in that.
Wayne, I'm thinking Trace probably wouldn't be interested in coming back for a 6th year, but for a guy like Tyler, who kind of had a slow start in community college, maybe he'd be a guy who could take advantage of that?
That's certainly going to be a conversation, Steve. Tyler didn't participate his first year out. He had some medical things going on, and so, he knows that he could really flourish with another year here at Oregon State with just strength and conditioning, and you saw how much he developed in just a short time, really a year and a half, could really benefit from that. So we'll have that conversation if it indeed looks like they're going to allow that to happen for the winter sports. But you do remember this. He has been out 5 years, and sometimes, guys are really chomping at the bit to get out there and see what they can make happen at the professional level. But certainly anticipate having that conversation.
What's Trace's the pre-draft will be kind of weird now because we don't know kind of when teams will be able to see players and stuff. What's Trace's kind of plan for the next weeks, months, trying to get ready for whenever kind of the pre-draft process begins?
Yeah, both he and Tyler Kelly were invited to the Fort Smith Invitational Tournament, which is really the first big pre-draft tournament. They bring in, 64 of the top seniors from around the country and play in front of all the NBA GMs and scouts. But I'm 99% sure that's canceled. Maybe you guys can do some research on that, but I'm pretty sure that was been canceled. And I've been reading a lot of interesting articles on whether they're going to hold any of the pre-draft workouts that they usually start up in April. So I know he's going to, finish his finals off as strong as he can next week. And then I'm sure I'm trying to convince him to take a couple of weeks to rest his body. I think that's crucial. And then, he's going to jump in and start working out. Now, what's going to be interesting is that he's got a lot of agents working, trying to fight for him right now, and they all have workout guys and workout facilities. So at some point, they'll have to make a decision on an agent, and then probably go to wherever location that is to start, working out and training and preparing for pre-draft workouts and that sort of thing.
Wayne, this is kind of a busy time. Once the season's over, starting to recruiting. How do you feel like this is going to impact with not being able to do anything really until the 15th of April?
Well, it's new ground for us this time of year. I mean, we had plans to go to the National Junior College Tournament next week, high school state tournaments. If our schedule allowed, bringing people to campus, because we have to sign guys this spring, and it's really going to hamstring us. So we're going to meet later this afternoon with the staff and put a plan in place. We have to get creative. We're going to be working the phones and the computers, Skyping, phoning, trying to get as much done as we can. So that the April 15th to date right now, but that might be pushed back even further. As we continue to evaluate, and the situation's so fluid. So it's a tough deal, but the one thing is we're all dealing with it. So it's not like in some aspects of recruiting where things are a little bit unlevel on the playing field. But we'll just have to be creative and be very diligent with the work that we have to do.
Will you be able to have a season-ending dinner, or is that off?
With the team?
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly at some point. But with everybody's schedules and spring break and all that, obviously we won't be able to do that in the next week or two. But at some point, for sure, we always have that.
What do you think you'll be doing in the interim? While this next month other than recruiting, are you able to? I guess. Well, what can you do?
Well, can't do anything on or off campus recruiting wise. We'll just be working the phones. First and foremost, I need to take some time to get healthy. I've been pretty beat up the last few weeks myself, but we can't slow down. We're working the phones. Like you said, we'll be doing a lot of work on the computers and Skyping kids and putting a plan in place. And then once we get some sort of a grip on what we can do with our current team with off-season stuff, we'll jump into that. We're in a holding pattern as far as what we can do outside of Corvallis. But while we're here, we still got to be doing our job. Talking to 2020 kids 2021, and just continuing to grind it away on recruiting wise, just won't be out on the trails. Hopefully, once the snow melts, we might be able to get a round or two of golf in too, to be quite honest.
I was going to mention that. What do you think March is going to be like without the madness?
Well, we tried. A bunch of us were sitting around. We had a great dinner with a bunch of folks before we all left Vegas, and we were just mesmerized thinking about it. I mean, just the excitement. Just your conference tournaments are really the precursor to March Madness, and you see crazy things happen. And Fridays and Saturdays in conference tournaments are every bit as exciting as what you see in the NCAA tournament, and to have all that taken away or not being able to see it. And again, I totally agree with the decision. It's just going to be, I wish I would have bought Netflix stock a long time ago, because I think that's what a lot of folks are going to be doing here for the next number of weeks. And I'd actually had plans to go to the Masters in conjunction with the Final Four being in Atlanta, and seeing that, it's just, it's such a small deal when you're looking at the grand scheme of things, sports, but it also tells you how important sports are to so many of us, and to see how all that's being taken away is going to be odd. It's going to be odd, because March and then into early April is a pretty magical time, especially for basketball folks, and it's different. But obviously, we've got a crisis going on health-wise, and we've got to make sure we all get a grip on that first and foremost.
Anything else? I'm good.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
All right, thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.